the beginning of day 3. We've got a different agenda. What are we going to look at today, Tom?
Well, we're going to try and find the different places where the Moe family lived.
Okay.
We're going to try and find the different places where they worked.
Okay. So what places are we going to?
Well, we're going to go to Thompson Street. We're going to go
Thompson Street is in Byker.
It's just on the hill. It's off Byker Bank.
Okay. Thompson Street?
Thompson Street, Brewery Bank.
Yeah.
Then it will be Duke Street, which is now called Malin Street. Here, which is Stepney Bank, where our grandfather was born. And then we're going to look at the 3 different sites for the Malin potteries.
Okay.
One on the banks of the river, one just behind, and then the biggest pottery in the world, the one at Holshire.
Okay, okay. Let's do that.
Okay, so this is where our grandfather lived, Thomas Moe, in the 1891 census. So we've got our great-grandfather John, our great-grandmother Christiana, and their 5 kids living in 2 rooms exactly on this spot. And it's a very interesting spot because you're living next door to the pub, the Ship Inn. Behind you, you've got the Clooney Whiskey Factory. It's now a restaurant. You've got here, you had here an old lead works, which is now an urban farm. Above your head, you've got the famous Byker Bridge, which had just recently been built. Underneath the house runs Adrian's Wall. Just at the back of the house, you've got Corford's Bridge and the Ousburn. On the census form, John is working as a potter, and he's working, I'm almost sure, at the mailing factory, which is a 5-minute walk down there. Christiana, our great-grandmother, is listed as a printer. She was printing all the little patterns on the tea caddies. I think they were making tea caddies. That was the speciality. And the elder sister, Anna, was also helping her do that. In 1861, Matthew and his wife Mary had moved to Malin Street. Well, in those days it was called Duke Street because it was next to the Duke of York pub. Later it was called Malin Street. And this is a very special place, not only because of these steps, which are the only things that survive today from that period, but behind me, directly behind me, where these new flats are, is where the first Malin pottery was built. 4 years later, I think, they died in 1865. And they died within a short period of each other, and I'm not sure what the story was there. This is the Malin Ford B pottery, built in the 1870s. It was reputed to be the biggest pottery in the world. And this is where great-granddad John and great-grandmother Christiana worked. So, we're going to have a look inside, see what it's like. There's a little cafe in the clock tower, and we're having some refreshments.
Afternoon tea.
Afternoon tea.
Afternoon tea.
In what was the biggest pottery in the world.
Allegedly.
Now, talking about our great-granddad John, my dad told me about, he also told you about him, told you more than he did me. He just told me that he was the king of Byker, whatever that means. What did he tell you?
Told me it was a cocker biker. He used to sit in a corner of a pub sorting people out with money when they were short in return for helping him out on dodgy dealings. That's what he told me.
So reading between the lines, he was a potter living in 2 rooms, ostensibly without 2 pennies to rub together, and he's dishing out loans to people.
How true it is, I don't know, but like I said, that's what he told me.
It doesn't add up, but I mean, the insinuation is that it was a bit of a gangster. His brother, according to me there, was a singer, Matt. Again, he didn't stop, he lived in 2 rooms with a family, worked as a brass motor.
Well, I'm listening, but I'm eating.
Okay. Christiana used to do the transfers, all these pretty pots that they did. Here, what they did mainly were jam pots and tea caddies for various big firms. One of the problems with that is by the end of the 19th century, jam was being put into glass jars, and the tea caddy industry was going down. Eventually the Malins closed about the 1930s, but before that they started to produce artistic pottery, which now you're going...
Anyway,
it's just a speed of change for your surprise.
that's us for today. We'll see you tomorrow when we're back into work. Happy holidays.